So we have a Fox News alert for you. The Brown University shooter is still at large as the manhunt continues. Rhode Island's Attorney General says investigators are not discouraged, though.
There's an enormous amount of energy for people who have been working as hard as they have been. I'm really quite impressed by that, frankly. And there's no discouragement among people who understand that not every case is a case that can be solved quickly. In my view, they get solved. It's just a matter of time. In this case, will get solved too.
So police are now looking for a second person, someone, quote, who was in proximity of the person of interest. They're trying to track down. Retired FBI Supervisory Agent James Gagliano joins us. Now, James, you know this job very well. The police does this sometimes when they're looking for someone. They haven't been able to reach them, but they feel like there is someone else that was close by that could shed more light on that person. Where do they go from here once they identify this person?
Well, Lawrence, I think it's two different things. One is the investigation, and people are rightfully concerned about how long it's taking. However, we're just going into day 5 here. This is not an anomaly. Investigations take time. I think what we're used to in the past is with mass shootings, most of the time these people either want to die in the process of it or they remain where the shooting takes place. This person was able to get away on a tiny campus that is a quarter square mile by a quarter square mile. It's a postage stamp on a university with an $8 billion endowment and 800+ security cameras. I think it's mixed messaging. I listened this morning to the interview with the mayor of Providence, and Lawrence, I can say this as a recovering politician and a former mayor. I thought the messaging was wrong, clunky, and indirect. The person of interest is not necessarily a suspect.
That's right.
They can also be a witness.
That's so true, James. And speaking to that concern, because I've been consistent, there's some concerns with the politicians, but I know the cops, the rank and file, they're going to catch this person because that's what you do. The mayor said this, and I want to get your reaction to this because I assume you have the same suspicion. Let's play it.
We will certainly be doing a review to think about where we might need additional camera footage, but we do have a network of technology, including things like flock license plate readers, which are aiding in this investigation. And the men and women of this police department are now going door to door because many of the residences have cameras, which is partially one of the reasons why it's taking so long, because we have to go door to door, but also why we're continuing to generate good new video, because we're looking through people's Ring cameras. We're asking them to review their Tesla footage.
James, I hope this was just a politician talk and not understanding police work, because when he said they're now going door to door, I mean, they should have already been going door to door.
Yeah, the canvassing started immediately after you knew that there wasn't an immediate threat in the area. And Lawrence, here's a couple of takeaways. This case is going to be solved, and I'm saying it right here. They will catch this individual or individuals. It's going to be solved on forensic evidence and crowdsourcing, which is putting these videos out. The law enforcement officers have already put out that there's DNA potentially from the suspect. Now, where did that come from? Well, they said it was a 9mm handgun. If it's a revolver, they didn't get it off a shell casing because those don't get ejected. If it's a pistol, they have that. But they should put that out. And then the other thing, Lawrence, last point on this. Let's get rid of face masks. Face masks were banned in the United States when the KKK was running it. We need to ban those because in this instance, it's making it difficult to make the identification.
James, real quick, and I got to go. I'm only got about 30 seconds left, but I want to put up this imaging of the person of interest right there because it's 4 different camera frames. I think it would be helpful to let us know when they lose his tail, because I think it would show us where some of the evidence is from the public there. I know they're canvassing, but that last image that they have is at 4:06. We need to know where they lose them because there could be more information there, right?
Yeah, they built it out. They showed the grid square, the block, the grid squares where they have him on cameras. This is normal, Lawrence. They're doing this concentric circles. They start in the immediate proximity and they build outward. We should have more in the next day or so.
All right, James. We appreciate you so much.
Thanks, LJ.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.